On the third day, God said, "Let the land produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants, and trees that bear fruit, according to their various kinds." And it was so. And God saw that it was good.
सगळे आमचे CCR TV पळयणाऱ्यांक माय मोगाचो येवकार. We have been talking about the need to promote agriculture so that you boost the economy of Goa. Rice cultivation is part of Goan heritage. Unfortunately, it was dying, but fortunately, it is being revived, and the revival goes to a large extent to so many agencies, including the government, but also to the pioneer of this mechanization, and that's none other than Father George Quadros of Don Bosco's. Welcome, Father George.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here with you.
Father George has revolutionized because he has set in a new trend, and that is your mechanization. And Father, you did not stop at all the things that you brought in. Lately, you have added a new component. What is it?
Yeah, the new component that we added was an agri-drone.
Agri-drone.
It was in my mind for quite some time, but lots of permissions had to get cleared. And that's the reason why it was a bit slow. Even if we had to go through it, we needed the approval of the government of India for it.
Because what I know, I see a lot of drones at the weddings.
Yes.
It's not that type of drone.
Those are just
Those also don't need any permission, I suppose.
If they are above 50 grams, then they require permission. Okay. 250 grams. Sorry.
Okay.
200.
And those drones, as I can see, they can be operated by...
They can be operated
any Tom, Dick and Harry.
Any Tom, Dick and Harry.
What about your agri-drone?
They have to be registered pilots.
Registered pilot?
Yeah, with DGCA.
That is your Director General of Civil Aviation.
Yes.
So at that level?
At that level. And then every time they fly, they have to get clearances from the police and from the local authorities. And therefore, it is very well regulated because it has a capacity of carrying 10 kgs.
Is it?
Drone. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's
and when did you launch it?
We launched it at Chinchini on the 20th of August 2022. It was a proud moment for us and proud moment for Goa and proud moment for all the agriculturalists across Goa, because that was something first of its kind, and we had good representation from all sectors, from ICAR, from KVK, from the Directorate of Agriculture, the local MLA, the local Panchayat.
So the credit for launching the agri-drone goes to Father George Quadros.
Yeah, to some extent, because we really did a lot of research and got it going and got our pilot ready for the occasion.
And we are fortunate that we have the pilot with us, and he is none other than Stanley Fernandez, who has qualified as a pilot from the Director General of Civil Aviation. Welcome, Pilot Stanley.
Thank you, Senor. Thank you so much.
First time I am coming across a pilot from DGCA in farming.
Yes, ideally we have pilots of aircraft, but now since we have drones, as Father has very well mentioned, we have different categories of drones. So the category of agriculture comes under small and medium. So the moment you go above 252 kgs of payload capacity, you have to undergo a training, and this training is held up at Haryana, wherein you have to be certified for it, and once you get certified for it, that is how you get
So
the license.
you have undergone training and then certification.
You're right.
And you are now well qualified to drive the drone.
The drone, correct.
Yes. Father, what made you go into the agri-drone?
See, something was missing in this whole chain of operation in paddy cultivation. We had the tractors have come inside, and we introduced the Kubota tractor, which is light and all that. And the ploughing was done excellently well, so that was taken care of. After that, the transplanter came inside. That took care of certain amount of things. And the tedious task was now to take care of the farmer in case there was some attack by way of pest or whatever it is. He had to get inside
There are also
the field.
sometimes insects.
Yeah, insects. So he had to get into the fields and he had to go with that traditional spray pump and do all that, and the contact of him and the chemical.
Sometimes it could be a health hazard.
Health
No?
hazard.
Yes.
Many of the farmers are suffering because of that. Okay.
Yes.
They say cancer is one of the results of all these things which have been used, and therefore introduction of the drone to take care of the weeds, to take care of, in other words, plant care. Okay, you need something, and it's like a doctor to take care of the plants. And therefore, without the farmer going inside, we thought the drone goes inside and performs all the operations within the framework of established rules laid down by the government of India. We thought this would be excellent initiative, and this would cover up the whole cycle of the paddy transplanting. And we got good response from the Department of Agriculture, and we have guidance of use of chemicals and fertilizers and everything else. And now the best part of it, with the drone, the plants start feeding directly from the leaves. In the earlier method of whatever you sprayed and operated, it was just dumped into the fields, and the residue was excess, and that would contaminate our fields, our water bodies. Now that is being taken care of. Then the quantum of utilization of this is drastically reduced from the normal way of being used by just broadcasting all these fertilizers and chemicals across. And now all chemicals, all fertilizers are coming in liquid form, and that's the reason why the drone is the essential part of agriculture.
Yeah, and you use it for spraying.
Use it for spray. Choice is yours.
Yes.
Choice is of the farmer, and well directed through the Department of Agriculture, quantum and what to be used. But choice is the farmer's what he would like to use, organic, inorganic, whatever he wants. Okay, but it is all monitored because the trained pilot has certain records which he has to keep, and what are the sprays being used. Everything is recorded and kept. So it's totally. What do you say? Taken care of. Everything is.
So Stanley has used the drone in Shishini. What was your experience?
When, as father said, the cost effectiveness is one of the major thing. Then you can see the happiness on the farmer's face also, because over here what happens is that the farmer doesn't have to go get into the field, so he just stands above the field, so his contact with that chemical is less, and more important is the time. So a drone can cover up 1 acre in 10 minutes. So in 20 minutes you can cover up 20 acres of.
So you save lots on time acres. Also.
Yes.
And it is also economical.
Very much economical.
Because you are spraying not a large quantity, but whatever is needed.
Correct.
And Father George, what is actually sprayed?
Sprayed, basically we are trying to use fertilizers.
Yes.
Okay. For example, the nano urea has come in the form of liquid now. Okay, so you don't have the bags of. One bag is compact into 250 ml of liquid. So that bag is replaced by a small little bottle, and that bottle is just used on the drone, and it is sprayed.
But whatever you are using, are there any specifications?
Specifications, right now the Government of India allows us to use the specifications on the label of the pesticide.
So it is as per the
regulations of the government.
Of the Government of India. So whatever is not earmarked,
no,
you cannot use.
You cannot use.
So it is within the stipulated regulations.
Yes.
And the use of the drone, we have an aircraft engineer here. And what did you feel when this idea of Father George Quadros to introduce the drone was shown in Shishini?
Yeah. It was, as Father pointed out, something which was missing. And I think very importantly, it brings modern technology to Goa. This is the cutting edge of technology. It is an artificial robot. And besides all the points that have been specified over here, one must remember this is precision spraying. So you're not using excessive precision, excessive fertilizer or whatever you're spraying. Also, it gives you a real-time monitoring. At any given point of time, with the software which is available over there, I can tell you what is being sprayed in which part of the field. It just covers it very beautifully. Technology is advancing. And I think when we look at agriculture as such in the past, it has been a field which has been looked down upon. Yes, it was something which was one of the primary occupations of the past. But there's been a downward spiral, people moving away from agriculture. And technology such as the drone basically shows us that there are so many allied fields which get into agriculture. The drone allows your software engineers to come in. It is cutting edge artificial intelligence coming in here. So when you talk about employment, there's so much more to agriculture than just looking at the farmer out there in the field.
So there are a lot of add-ons.
Yes, plenty of add-ons. The seeds, you have the scientists, you have the research over there, you have logistics. Sadly, when you look at agriculture, it is a booming industry. What is sad about it is we lose a lot of the produce. Our storage conditions are not in place. So there's logistics which is at play over there. The yields are poor, and this is where this new technology comes into play. Health hazards which have been talked about. So a lot of fields which basically with an industry which is ever growing, you have a food shortage problem which is coming up over there. So you have an industry here where you have a ready-made job in ways. It just depends on you finding out where you can fit in.
So, Father, what do you think is the future for the drone in Goa?
Soon you'll be seeing many drones in Goa. Okay?
Is it?
Flying around the place. Soon you will see. Maybe in 2 years' time. Everybody is waiting for our results. Okay, since we are taking the initiative to get into this field, everybody is waiting to see what the results are. And definitely a lot of inquiries are coming in, and you'll see.
You introduced the drone in Goa, you are the pioneer, and it forced the Goa government to come with a legislation on usage of drones.
I wouldn't say forced, but it would have to come sometime or other. Okay, it has speeded up legislations, and of course, the central government has already laid down legislations for the use of drone, and the state governments have to further add or subtract and make things suit the situation of the Goan condition. So that is tweeting those little things up and down, and I think that is happening right now. And soon everything will
And
be...
what were any difficulties that you faced with the drone?
Not exactly. There are no difficulties that are faced with the drone, but there are some drawbacks. Like the drone is dependable on the climatical conditions. Like in a rainy weather, probably you may not be able to operate a drone. That is one thing. And permissions. Permissions are to be taken from different departments. You have to. There's an app wherein it's called a Digital Sky app. So you got to go on the Digital Sky app. You have to apply for permissions. You have to apply for a type certificate. So these permissions is a challenge again. So it's a tedious process. It goes on at least for 1 or 2 months to get all the permissions. So these are some of the challenges that you face with the drone.
Yeah. But did you face any problems now? You did spraying in Santa Cruz also.
No, operating the drone, there is nothing. It is much more easier. But yeah, initially there are some teething processes which were there. So, but which has been overcome now. Like we understood there is something called geofencing, when you can fence your drone so that it doesn't go astray. So then you have certain things wherein you can control your spray, how much content you want. So all those learning processes, these are all teething processes which we have overcome, and now we've become we've got our expertise on the drone. So right now there's no difficulties that we have faced with the drone.
Father George, how do the farmers have taken up to this?
First thing is they watched and seen. I couldn't believe. Now they want the results. Okay, so the results are coming in now with this particular crop of the Vaingan. We are noting our results. We ourselves are noting everything. And in the next season, we are already going to do it in a full scale. At the same time, we are working with the government to grant a subsidy to the farmers so that as an incentive that he pays only half the cost, and he just has to pay half the cost and the work will be done with him. on their fields.
But it is cost effective.
It is very cost effective, and the beauty is you are not going to use all these chemicals in that quantum as it was being used manually. It is going to be reduced to 1/3 the quantum of use of these chemicals which are being used at the moment of time. So that itself is going to improve the environment of the place. That is going to
So
give
it's
you a better-
environmentally friendly.
yeah, and get better quality of grain.
Your
which comes
yield-
out, because
your yield
it's not
becomes-
going to have so much of chemicals
Yeah.
and whatever other things that are being used.
Kenneth, you have been with the Goinso Shatkar, and what I see from Father George, he has been concentrating mostly on the South Goa. And where is the scope for you?
Well, yes, traditionally South has been the bedrocks of farming, of agriculture in Goa. It's not to say that we don't have it in the North. It's just that we have lost out. If you look at the system which was in place, it's a very beautiful system. We've spoken a little bit of the Vaingon season. And when we look at paddy, basically, it is a semi-aquatic grass, which tells you basically this is a crop which grows during the monsoons. But it's something to marvel at how in our state we grow it twice in a year. And that is this beautiful system which has been put in place, wherein you have the water which trickles down from the mountains, you have the lakes which were developed, which were basically made over there to catch the water, and from there it was then taken into the field. So we could actually have cultivation of rice twice in a year. So yes, the North has lost, but I wouldn't say everything is lost. There are still pockets wherein we have fallow lands, and that has been the message and the motto basically of Goinso Shetkar, that let's not leave our fields fallow, let's get them back to the greenery of the past.
Which are the areas where you have been operating?
We have been operating in Bati, in Kurka. We've had another very good revival story over there, wherein fields were left uncultivated for almost 15-20 years. Again, it is all thanks to mechanical cultivation. And what we see basically is people are a little apprehensive at the beginning. And that is to be expected. So what we do is we do pilot projects. So we've done a few pilot projects even in Showdown. We've got a good response. Everywhere we've gone, we have built on what we have done in the previous years. We are in Para, there are pockets in Bardes also where we are. But Tiswadi as such has a fair amount of limitation. Agasai is another success story for Goinso Shetkar. And again, credit to the farmers of Agasai to welcome this technology, because technology, or anything for that matter, any new technology which comes in, no matter how many benefits, psychology basically tells us the first is to resist change whenever it involves any lifestyle changes. So by virtue of doing these pilot projects, we've been encouraging farmers. Farmers have been seeing the results, and the results are there for everyone to see. So yes, farming is picking up.
So do you restrict to a particular place, or wherever you are invited, you go there?
Yes, there is no restriction as per the current legislation. That being said, as Father had said earlier, since we are about 6 or 7 service providers, we make it a point not to overlap into anybody else's area of operation. So people who are based, for example, in Kangon would get first priority to do their fields over there. We are in Tiswadi, so we would get first priority to do the fields over here. So ethics does play a big role, and I think the rules have been set in place by Father at the very beginning. He being a mentor, I think all of us follow his diktat at the end of the day.
So how happy are you with these youngsters now?
Very happy, because so much of enthusiasm is generated, by every time we meet, we are always having something to share, something to look forward to, something to do. And I think one message that we like to send clearly out across is, if you are thinking of getting your village back, just contact any of us and we'll get you back to agriculture.
So they just telephone you,
and then we'll do the movement. We'll tell you how it can be done. We've got the technology, we've got the expertise, we've got the experience. All that is learned over the period of 5-7 years. And we'd like to share this wholeheartedly.
Okay. And the growth rate in agriculture, it had doubled from 2% in 2012 to 4% in 2014. And thereafter they say that it remained stagnant.
Now we'll have to ask the department to give us the latest statistics.
Yeah.
We ourselves are covering 2,000 2,000 hectares in the year. Okay, all the 7 groups are covering 2,000 hectares in the year. Of the 16,000 hectares being transplanted, 2,000 is on mechanical transplantation.
Yeah,
So
but
there's a
by and
difference.
large, the farmers are happy with mechanization.
Very happy. Yeah, one of the things we told all of them who got into this business is say you cannot get out of the business, okay, because you have made the farmers dependent on you. And if you take out yourself and take out your technology, you have to put somebody in replacement of that. So there's no opting out of this system because you let down the farmers. Okay, so the thing has to last, and we just have to create more people so that the whole thing becomes sustainable.
Yes, and our pilot Stanley,
Yes.
how easy has been for you to send a message across to the farmers? Because for them it will be something novelty like.
See, initially the farmers, like how Kenneth also has mentioned, initially there will be a resistance. You will have resistance, but then as per time goes by, now, as father said, we're waiting for results.
Yes.
So results, once we get them, then they will definitely be certain. But as of now, they are very happy. Because as I said, it's cost effective, your time has been saved, and again, your contact with the chemical or the plant protection chemicals that are used is less. So right now, till time, the farmers are extensively happy. Now once the result gets out back again, then definitely it's going to be
And
welcome.
would you be able to use your drone for any other fields?
Yeah, see, this is in farming. This is only one particular thing that we have seen, which is spraying of fertilizers. You have drones which you can even use for broadcasting. We are talking about spraying only by liquid, but you have broadcasting. Only thing you need to change what is down. You have a system where you just change that component and you can actually broadcast it as well.
And also, say you have got a cashew plantation, Father George.
Definitely.
Would you be able to use this for them?
It can be used, surely, as long as there's visibility of the drone, it can be used. But right now, we are not venturing into that. We are just specializing on paddy because there's enough work in paddy itself.
Okay.
Okay, you don't have to go there into that new field because we will be changing our focus. One of the focuses that we have is to get the fallow land back to the paddy field.
That's a
So we don't
nice thought.
We don't want to lose that focus. Okay,
Yeah.
so anybody who wants to join us, if you want to learn that trade, also we'll teach you the trade and put you into the field.
Yeah, I think the road to boosting Goa's economy runs through agriculture. Do you believe on that, Father?
Very much, very much.
What about
Yes, definitely.
and going so Shatkar?
Yes, it most definitely does. We are looking at a serious food shortage problem in the years to come. But
The population also is increasing.
Yes, and will we have enough food to feed all those mouths? So yes, it is a booming industry, and I think it's the need of the hour that we wake up to the problem at hand.
So I think we are on a road to recovery, and I hope that Goa will come up again in this agriculture, especially rice cultivation. Keep on doing the wonderful work that you are doing. I am sure you have the blessings of Father, and I'm sure all of you will grow in this paddy field cultivation. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.